Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, all of you. Now today we are starting a very, very important, very nice, beautiful, we say the crown of Bhagavad Gita, the jewel of Bhagavad Gita. That's the 11th chapter, namely the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga chapter. Okay. Now first paying obeisances to Sri Sri Radha Govinda of ISKCON Temple, Nantur, Mangalore. Then now seeking the grace of our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, and the blessings of my Shiksha Guru, Namanishtha Das Prabhuji, I commence the session today. Now, the name of this chapter is the universal form or the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Okay. Now, the entire Bhagavad Gita for that matter, it's all about, it's just a 45 minutes episode happening on the Battle of Kurukshetra between Krishna and Arjuna. Entire Gita, the song, the golden song, the divine song of Bhagavad Gita. Now, the whole purpose of the song was to convince Arjuna to fight. Arjuna was in delusion. You know the background, why they had to fight. They did not intend to fight. They were pushed to, they were cornered to fight. Though even Krishna himself went to try to bring about a reconciliation, asking just 5 villages for the Pandavas. Duryodhana denied. He said, no, war, nothing but war. That was one time when Krishna was not able, Krishna himself, the divine Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, was unable to convince a human, Duryodhana is a human being, to come to reconciliation and avoid war. He himself failed. And what best he could do then was to show them something, which was very amazing. So there also he has shown Vishwarupa once, okay, to impress them. That was the purpose. But they were not impressed. Duryodhana was not at all impressed. So he said, only war. Then he said there was no alternative. So he had to resort to war. The whole Bhagavad Gita is meant on the battlefield, with all this, with all the injustice, with all the pranks, the dirty pranks that the Kauravas played. Arjuna still was compassionate. He didn't want to fight against the Kauravas. They were his cousin brothers, the uncle and so on, his teachers, his grandfather and so on. He didn't want to fight against them. He was in delusion. That shows I told you earlier too, that shows the character of our Arjuna. He was a very exalted personality. He had compassion in the mind. He was worried about the sins that might be incurred. He was worried about the family traditions that might be lost. When the women were actually thrown on the streets, when their men passed away in the battle, then totally confused. He didn't want to fight. He didn't find any happiness in ruling over a kingdom which did not have a major part of the population, that the Kauravas. If they all die, what is the fun in reigning with blooded in a blooded scene. So that was a delusion. Throughout what we see in Bhagavad Gita is that throughout Arjuna is having delusion, and then throughout Krishna is trying to convince him. So that was convinced then. Then later Krishna tells him what is the purpose of our life, all our lives, not only Arjuna's, it is ours too. What is the purpose of our life? We have got this human birth after so many actually births and deaths. Okay, we have passed through 84 lakh species to come to this human form. So we must make the best use of the form. And this form is given to us by the Lord. He's given us a chance to elevate ourselves to higher spirituality. If we don't use it, what's the use? He says, if now for you as a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. Right? See, for us, our duty is not to fight. We have to always be calm, cool, and try to be composed. But for a Kshatriya, he has to fight against injustice. So if you don't fight, there'll be sin. You will be actually sinning. So it convinces him actually. So slowly Arjuna is getting convinced. Then he tells him about how to go about to reach the kingdom of God, through Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, and saying Bhakti Yoga. They're the same. Buddhi and Bhakti Yoga are the same. He convinces him. And slowly Arjuna is also getting convinced, not that he's not getting convinced. Now in the 10th chapter, last chapter, we saw that it is Vibhuti Yoga. He showed him all his opulences. See, one thing, when someone tells us to do something, okay, maybe our very great friend too, we are greatly impressed when the friend tries to tell us about his greatness, which we do not know. But in this case, it is not that Arjuna did not know Krishna's greatness. He knew already, though he was his friend and a relative. But the world at large should know how great Krishna is. So in Vibhuti Yoga, Krishna elaborates all his vibhutis, all his grandeurs, his glories. He's the best of everything that is there on the earth. Arjuna is his illusions are getting dispelled. So in those 4 shlokas, the Chatushloka, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, that Krishna says, I am the origin of all material. Now all this is actually to not exactly entice, I would say entice is not the right word, to convince Arjuna to fight. He's telling him, say, I am the origin of everything, material and spiritual. Okay. Now, those who know this in those 4 shlokas, the meaning is, if you just take a summary of that, those who know it, they are great souls. And then it tells them those who want to, the people and my devotees, it says my devotees, they're not only interested in worship, doing devotional service unto me, but they're also interested in conversing amongst themselves about me, my greatness. And thirdly, he says, I want to, I'll take them back to, I'll give them the intelligence to come to me if they show their interest to come to me. And lastly, he says that this is the, if you follow this, there'll be no, in fact, I help them with a lamp, the lamp of knowledge. I shine into their hearts and show them the way how to do it. So he's telling the ways are shown in the last chapter. Now in this chapter, now we see that is a summary of the last chapter. Now 1 to 7, 10th chapter, Krishna's position as origin of everything. I just told you, origin of material and spiritual worlds. The 8 to 10 Chatushloka, even that I elaborated to you, what is the whole meaning of the Chatushlokas. Please by heart them, they're very beautiful. Shlokas, I'll be quoting them in this session too. Now 12 to 42, Arjuna's acceptance and his request. Okay, now he's slowly accepting. He's come to terms. He says, yes, you are really great. And actually, his relationship of a friend with Krishna now gradually changes into respect. Okay, now he says, fine, I'm totally convinced. For the sake of the common people, for the sake of the layman, who does not know so much about Krishna. See, when someone, especially the Lord, the Lord is so glorious that no one can venture, or no one is qualified even to say anything about Krishna. He himself has to say about him. There are certain people in the world too, they are actually par excellence. Then no one can give an introduction about them. They have to introduce themselves because they're beyond our capacity. And Lord, they're human beings after all, but Lord is Lord, Supreme Lord. So he actually tells him all about his opulences, and Krishna slowly gets convinced. Okay. And he wants, actually, it's not all about Krishna getting convinced. Krishna is trying to convince all of us also through his questions. So these are the great 4 shlokas we studied in the last chapter. Aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante maam buddha bhava samanvitaha. And macchitta madgata prana bodhayantaha parasparam katayantascha maam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Is that this shloka actually says that people, my devotees, not only they show service unto me, devotional service unto me, they also enjoy conversing about me. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So those people, now I give them the intelligence to come back to me. I tell them how to go about it. If you want to do something, he says, I'll give you the know-how of what has to be done. Okay. Tesham ivanukam partham aham ajnanajam tapaha nasha yaham yatma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. Then he says that jnana deepena bhashvata. Through the light of knowledge, I actually tell them how to come about to me. So these are the shlokas. And again, Krishna had no doubt about, that Arjuna had no doubt about Krishna's greatness and glory is beautifully, it's a very, very popular shloka, very, very important shloka again in the 10th chapter. Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dharma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are everything, Param Brahma. You are the Param Dharma, you are the ultimate abode. Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are so pure. Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Hari Devam, Ajam Vibhum. People all they vouch for your greatness. Narada, Asila, Devala, all of them, they vouch for your greatness. Ahustvam, Rishya Sarve, Devarshad, Naradas Tatha, Asito Devalo Vyasaka, Swayam Chaiva, Pravishimi. Even too, I am also convinced about that. But so that means that Arjuna is not asking Krishna to show his universal form or show something very amazing for himself. It's for the people at large. Okay. And he also incidentally is getting enlightened. Okay. Now, this is a beautiful image where, first 3 times Vishwarupa was actually shown by the Lord. One is when he showed, when he ate some mud, there's a place called Brahmanda Ghat in Vrindavan. We had been there actually recently, but Brahmanda Ghat we could not go because there was no time. It's very hot too. It's a place where Krishna ate the mud, and then Mata Yashoda says she wants to clear the mud from his mouth. Just open the mouth, and he opens the mouth. She says she's amazed to see the Brahmanda. It's called Brahmanda Ghat. There's the entire universe she sees in the child's mouth. But still, she's a mother. She still acts like a mother only. And again, it is Krishna's Yoga Maya, which does not make her behave differently. If she comes to know her son is God, or is something showing something superhuman, then she may stop acting in the normal motherly way. He didn't want that to happen. So actually, it's Yoga Maya that actually makes Yashoda not appreciate that. But he has already shown that when he was a child. And secondly, I told you Duryodhana, he was shown that. But there is a difference between that and this. Does anyone know? Did anyone know about these two? Instances where Vishwarupa was shown? Kindly unmute and answer. Did you know earlier that Vishwarupa was shown more than once by Krishna? Or did you think that this is the first time he's showing? Kindly unmute. I should see some hands raised. One hand is raised. Who is that? Yeah, Vijaya, please. Unmute. Yeah. Kindly. Yes.
Vishwarupa is shown only one time to Arjuna only.
That is yes. No, but the thing is, earlier also it was shown in Brahmanda was shown to Yashoda in Krishna's mouth. Okay, Brahmanda, yeah. And then in Duryodhana also was shown Vishwarupa.
Yeah.
But what is the difference? There's a difference. See, as you say, Vishwarupa was I think I'm giving you an answer if I say use that word. See, totality, the complete Vishwarupa was. I think I'll elaborate it. The total complete Vishwarupa was shown on the Kurukshetra battlefield to Arjuna by Krishna. But then these two you can't deny they are not anywhere close to it. The only thing is they were partial. They were not complete. Okay. But that was earlier shown to Mata Yashoda. Okay. There's a, yeah. Is it clear? Can you see? Sometimes this gets stuck. Yes. Now, synopsis of this particular chapter. Let's see what this chapter has to give us actually. Now, the last verse of the 10th chapter, I have actually mentioned here. Now, yeah. With a single fragment, last chapter, the 42nd shloka of the 10th chapter, what Krishna says is, why should I bother of telling you all this, Arjuna? Huh? Why should I say I'm the best animals, I'm the lion, or I'm the Meru, I'm the mountain, I'm among the mountains, I'm the Meru, the best of the mountains, and among the Pandavas, I'm the Arjuna. So many things he keeps on telling. Last time we went through the whole list. Why should I tell you all that? Why within a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. Arjuna wishes to see that all-pervasive form of the Lord. Now Arjuna says, if that is so, Krishna, why don't you show that Rupa to me? Although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, he pervades and supports the entire universe. Arjuna therefore wishes to see Krishna's all-pervading form. Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form. That is all about the 11th chapter. Now this is this we saw last time, this particular image where, Lord is present in every soul. He's actually every animal, every human being, every bird, the tree, everywhere, Lord is he's all pervasive. And this is the beautiful shloka of the last chapter, the 42nd shloka. Athava bahunai tena kim jnatena tavarjuna ishtam idam very important shloka. Ekamshena sito jagat. Okay. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Ekamshena sito jagat. So, he's already told it in the last chapter, but now he tries to go more into it actually. Now, in this chapter, we see, now we are going to stop at 31 today because it's a very big chapter, 55 shlokas. So, we are doing A and B today. Now, 11.1 to 8, Arjuna's request and Krishna's description of his universal form. So, Arjuna requests, please, Krishna, show me your opulent form, which you talk so much about. And then how Krishna goes about describing it. In 9 to 31, Sanjaya's description of the universal form. So Sanjaya is the person who has been seeing the universal form along with Arjuna. But there were two more people who saw it. Can anyone tell me? Unmute and tell me. Two more people saw it. They were sanctioned by the Lord to see. Yes, Dr. Brijan, please answer.
Hare
Krishna Prabhu, please answer.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, please.
This is Arjuna and Sanjay, Hanumanji.
Then who else? Who
Sanjay?
else? Sanjay saw, Arjuna saw.
Vedavyas?
Vedavyasa, no, he was not there. He was not there.
No, he has got the divine vision. No?
He has got, but he was not there on the battle of Kurukshetra.
No. Acha.
Now, my question is, on the battle of Kurukshetra, who else saw it?
Sanjay was not in the field.
Sanjay was on the field. He saw, he was at home. He was at, in the kingdom. But he was given the divine powers. So he saw.
Yeah.
Then who else? Two more people involved. I'll give you a clue. Involved with the war. I'll give you another further clue. It is on the other side, on the Kaurava side.
Barbaric?
No, Bhishma and Drona, Prabhu. Bhishma and Drona.
Bhishma
Pitamaha and Dronacharya, they also were able to see the divine form. Not only that, many demigods, were around actually. They were able to see the Vishrup Darshana. Okay. Now, but we know, but the only thing is, they were able to see, but only thing is, the divine vision, the Divya Chakshu was given by Krishna to Arjuna. Okay. And to Sanjay, it was not given by Krishna, it was given by Vedavyasa. He had given him the divine vision. Okay. So that is where we are going to discuss about that particular form, how it was actually. Then the 1 to 4 shlokas they elaborate on Arjuna requests Krishna to show him that all-pervading form which he spoke of in chapter 10. Now 5 to 8, Krishna first described his universal form before showing it to Arjuna. He describes him first. He has to be prepared for that, to be able to see it. He then bestows upon Arjuna the divine form necessary to divine vision to see the necessary form. He gives him later. Now, first shloka, Arjuna Uvacha, Mad Anugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Samnitam. Prabhuji, you want to say the shloka, Prabhuji? Please say. Vijayan Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Please stand, Prabhu.
Arjunuvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam Yatto Yoktam Vachastene Moho Ayam Vigto Mama.
Yes. Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, okay, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled. So what are those confidential spiritual matters? We shall see now, okay? And they are actually, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. He is the cause of all causes, including the Mahavishnu, from whom the universes emanate. So Mahavishnu, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, he is the cause of all causes. The first thing, spiritual knowledge. Krishna is not an incarnation. He is a avatari, not an avatara. Okay, he is the source of all incarnations. Now, for our other avatars, like your Matsya Avatara, Varaha Avatara, Narsimha Avatara, Vamana Avatara, Parashurama Avatara, for all those Buddha Avatara, so many, all of them. Okay, for all those, he is the source, but he is not an incarnation. Lord is primeval, he is Adi. From the beginning, he is there. Arjuna's illusion is dispelled. He is enlightened and happy. Slowly is getting happiness. He is feeling so enlightened. And definitely when there is enlightenment, there will be happiness. No longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being. Now he knows Krishna is not just a friend, a human being. He is beyond that, but everything. And that he is lying in everyone's heart as the super soul. To establish Krishna's divinity for all, even that is a spiritual matter, that Krishna exists in all the living beings as in the heart of the super, is as a super soul, is again it's a revelation. To establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna to show his universal form. Okay. Now, text 1, we'll just elaborate more on that, little bit more on that. By hearing everything, excuse me, some adjustment had to be made, I said. No? Yeah. By hearing everything that Krishna has said, Arjuna's illusion is removed. Okay. Effect of hearing, most confidential. What is the effect of hearing? The most confidential knowledge. All illusion is dispelled. There's no more doubts, no confusions. Everything is very clear. Krishna's supremacy over all is revealed. That Krishna is the cause of all causes. Everything is actually revealed. Chapter 11 reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. All material, nature, and then living. This. It's okay. This is to move a little. Yeah. Material world, the nature, matter and nature, both of them are created by Lord only. Is it not? Now, matter is created from the Lord's external inferior energy, and the inner soul actually is the Lord's superior energy. The living entities, we all of us, we are created by Lord only. We are actually the inner superior energy of the Lord. Some stuff. Yeah. Demigods are created by Lord. They emanate from Almighty. And all incarnations are actually emanate from the Lord. Yeah. Mahavishnu is again from the Lord. Okay. Then we have here, now as a effect of hearing, again, most confidential knowledge, you see here, how is the illusion dispelled? Arjuna recognizes that by power of Krishna's grace, now Krishna's grace is a very important word here. I'll tell you what it is, by which the illusion is dispelled. So what is Krishna's grace? Is actually Yogeshwara. He's actually having divine, inconceivable potency. Now, that is in the form of grace. He gives in the form of grace. Now, here he gave his grace in the form of the divine vision to Arjuna. He tells Arjuna, it is not from the mind you're going to see my universal form. If you try to mentally speculate and all that, you cannot see my form. Or if you just contemplate on my form, you cannot see my form. You need some divine vision because your vision is material. You can see material things. You cannot see spiritual things. So our material things, what we see, we have illusion again there. It's a full with Mahamaya. It's not a full, complete, very contaminated vision we all have. Now, such a vision will not help us to see the Supreme Lord's universal form. Now, what illusion is dispelled there? That Krishna is an ordinary friend or a human being. He's not a friend. He's not an ordinary person. He's a friend, of course. He's a friend of all. He's a father. He's a son. He's everything. And beyond that, he's actually a superhuman being. He is actually a divine being, a cause of all causes. Then why did Arjuna request Krishna to show his universal form? That's the question. Why, when all this Arjuna knows, he's enlightened, he already has so much knowledge, then why still does he want to Krishna to show him the universal form? Is very, I told you earlier too, it is not for him, for his sake, for everyone's purpose. Second shloka. Bhava pyayau hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tvattah kamala patraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. Oh, lotus-eyed one. Normally, lotus, Krishna's everything is compared to lotus. It's a lotus feet, lotus eye, everything is actually so divine, so pure. Oh, lotus-eyed one, I've heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. He is convinced. He's actually, there's nothing, you get stuck sometimes, yeah. In this way, I'll show you. Now, Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others that Krishna is not a mere person. That's one reason why this can come as a question to you. You wanted to see the universal form. He also wants to warn his imposters. Now, these days, we see so many false gods in everywhere. So, I'm God, everyone, you worship me. And they say, I'm so, and everything. They try to propagate that they're the gods. And they also swindle away the populace actually with their pranks. People believe and they get deceived. So for them, they're called imposters. They're actually pretenders. So what Krishna wanted to actually delineate is that those imposters should first of all show their Vishwarupa. If you are a god, okay, fine, you show the Vishwarupa. If you show the Vishwarupa, then we'll be, but they show other things. They create magic out of nothing, from out of thin air. They produce so many things. They just do magic. That is magic. Okay. Now, magic can't be. It can't be divinity. It can't be spirituality. So they say, okay, you show the Vishwarupa Darshana, then I'll agree you're God. So I wanted to warn the imposters. He also wants to see how Lord is acting from within the universe, though he's out of it. So though Krishna has created the entire universe, the material, the spiritual, all of it, but he's out of it. He created the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, he's out of it. He transcends all that. He's beyond all that. So that is very interesting. So Krishna is not a part of our universe. He's not here. He's everywhere. You can't say he's not here. Not here means he's not only here. He's everywhere, all pervading. Now, when he's everywhere, from there, how does he remotely control the entire universe? He should be controlling remotely only. And every part of the planet is controlled by Lord. All the planets floating in the air are because of Krishna. Everything that you see, name it A to Z, is because of Krishna. Then how does he do it? He says, I'm not a part of it. I don't belong to this. Then without being in it, now the officer has to be in the seat normally to control the proceedings of the particular office. Normally, that's how it is. But of course, he can also remotely control from home. He has got online service now. We use only online now. But then how is it? But so efficiently, it's possible that when the boss is on online, it's possible that the employees may give him some information which may not be correct. They may be not really working so hard, but they give the impression they're working hard, so they can't deceive. And the Lord and the employer can get deceived also. But in the case of Krishna, it is not like that. No one can deceive Lord. I always say Krishna is a super scanner. He's a super scanner. He can read us in and out. Whatever you say. Now, you may say you are doing something. If you're not into, you say chanting for that matter. If you're not intently chanting, your mind is elsewhere, he can make out. And he does not allow, all that doesn't become worship. But again, at the same time, I want to tell you something, to give you some, so like convince you, tell you something that will be appealing to you. Sometimes, see, all of us are, we are into our family entanglements. So there'll be some things where our mind definitely wanders. Okay, there's nothing wrong in that, not completely wrong. But don't think of bad things. If you're thinking of something, if the milk on the oven and it is getting, you have to go and switch it off, or do something, the lone person doing so many things, along with that chanting Krishna, Hari Mantra, Mahamantra, nothing really wrong. Not very 100% perfect, but not really wrong. Because you're doing, both the things. You are actually trying to manage both of them. If you think of something ill of a person, if you think bad for a person, or you're planning something evil for a person, that is very bad. So never have evil thoughts. Thoughts are not bad at all. And we are human beings, and every intelligent human being will be thinking. There will be so many thoughts, thousands of thoughts coming. But then have good thoughts. Thoughts should be very choosy, with chosen thoughts. The dwelling, he also wants to see how, dwelling within Arjuna, Lord knows he does not want to see the universal form out of for self-interest, and that in fact he's pleased with the two-handed form of the Lord. In fact, there's another thing. See, all of the real devotees, they don't want to see the opulent form of Krishna. Now, for a child at home, he would love to see his mother and father in the normal home attire, playing very prankfully with him. He will not see the father, see the father in a suit and all that, when the way he goes to the office, and the mother so very decked to go to the office. He would love when the mother comes home and then changes over to her domestic attire and hugs the child. That will be very, that will make the child very happy. Even the father should remove all his dress and then, the outside dress, and then wear the casual attire, and then be playful with the child. The same way devotee also wants Krishna in the very normal form. You should be able to play with Krishna. You should be able to feed Krishna. You can't feed a Vishwarupa form, it is terrible. You can't just think of even you feel so afraid when you see that. Even the four-handed Vishnu form or Narayana form, even that can't be very, fed the way you can feed a two-handed form. So all the devotees want to see the two-handed form. They don't want opulence and all that. So it's only for the layman that all that has been actually asked for. Now, Arjuna expresses his desire to see the form which supports and pervades the entire universe. And this has been actually told you already. To establish divinity for all the people. That's one thing. And secondly, to convince others, although he does not have any personal desire and is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. He would be like Sudama and Krishna. What a wonderful pastime they have. They can't see, Sudama can't have a wonderful pastime with a four-handed form. He would not like that. See, and Balrama would like to play with his brother who is two-handed. Would not. Yashoda Maya also a two-handed child she would love. That's the reason why Devaki and Vasudeva, when Lord appears in the four-handed form in the prison, they ask him to become, show him the two-handed, become a two-handed child. They don't like, they say, we want just a normal child. We don't want a human child, not, the spiritually opulent child. So he becomes actually two-handed form there. To avoid imposters, he wants to set in a criteria for in the future, there will be so many imposters who will pose as incarnations. We'll say, we are this, that, and so many. We have seen in the papers in the past, so many have been exposed to. That shouldn't happen. Arjuna wants to substantiate Krishna's statement that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically, but actually shows his form. He's not only talking, he's actually showing it in person. He wanted to even show that to the world. Now, fourth one. Manyase yati tachakyam maya drashtum iti prabhu yogeshwara tato metvam darshayatmanam avyayam. If you think that I'm able to behold your cosmic form, oh my Lord, oh Master of the supreme power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal form, one can neither understand nor perceive the Supreme Lord Krishna by the material senses. So you show me that form which are not perceivable by material senses. So obviously you have a form which is opulent, which is spiritual. So please show me that form. So it requests Krishna to show that form. Yeah. Sorry, lost connection. Excuse me. Got stuck. Excuse me, there's a little problem. Stuck. Sorry, just give me a moment. I'll just try to set it back. Suddenly.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, some problem happened, Meenakshi. Not able to.
I have posted the
Uh,
attendance thing. Please go through and fill it.
Hello.
yeah,
Can I share like it?
நல்லா இருக்கேன். இல்ல எந்த போன்ல வந்துச்சு? புரிஞ்சுது நீ எப்படி இருக்க?
what happened?
Connection problem, Mataji.
I think I have to get some help. Please help.
Mataji, do you have the PDF like?
It's a beautiful chapter. We are getting stuck.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Meenakshi, tell me.
If you want, we can share the PDF from our side. If you share it in the WhatsApp, Mataji.
No. Can you do that?
Yeah, Mataji. Naga Kumari Mataji is also there. I think it's there, Mataji. It's came.
It came, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it has come. Yeah.
1.4
I pressed something, it has come off. My goodness. With the horrible technology. Anyways, okay. Anyway, sorry for the disturbance. Yeah. Manyase yati tachakyam maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. If you think that I'm able to behold your cosmic form, oh my Lord, you just show me. So I request Krishna. No one cannot see, hear, understand, or perceive the Supreme Lord by the material senses. Since every living entity is only a spiritual spark, the Supreme Lord cannot be seen or understood. What are we after all? See, Lord is splendor. We are a spark. So if you're just a spark, how can you cannot obviously see the entire spiritual whole of the Lord. So it's impossible to see with our ordinary eyes. Arjuna pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna, addressing him as Yogeshwara, as the unlimited Lord is revealed by his desire and grace. So his desire and grace. See, Lord, grace is one thing. Secondly is, he must will to show us. If he does not will to show us, we cannot see. Okay, so he has to desire to show us, and he has to give us grace to show us. Arjuna is not demanding from the Lord. He's not demanding. He's not actually ordering Krishna, show me your universal form. He says he's requesting, Lord, please show me that it is humility, with all humility. Krishna reveals himself to only fully surrendered Krishna conscious devotees. He will not show it to all. Again, we have been told that we should not discuss much about Krishna or Bhagavad Gita or anything spiritual with people who have no faith in it. Slowly, you have to try to bring them to faith, and then you have to tell them. Otherwise, there's no point. The Lord doesn't like it. It's actually an offense. Devotees always engage in loving devotional service from the beginning. That's also very important. Suddenly, if someone starts off, it's not bad. I can't say it is bad, but still, they're not pure devotees. They might be trying to emulate someone. But some other people, they're born devotees, or they're actually very early in their life, they take to devotional service. And such people can be enlightened on Krishna. The mental speculators cannot see Krishna. If you are trying to imagine Krishna is like this, Krishna is like that, or you are using your mind. See, mental speculation means using the mind only. That you cannot see Krishna. To see Krishna, we have to have the devotion, the will, then the service, and above all that, grace of the Lord. Okay, that's very important. Arjuna pleads and does not order him to see. Actually, this is done. Yeah. Only by revelation, by the mercy of the Lord, you can see Krishna. Not possible by mental speculation or perception by material senses. Lord is addressed as Yogeshwara. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Pashyame Partha Rupani Shatashostha Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varnakriti Nicha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms. Now before that, he describes himself, and then he shows the form. Now this is Krishna is on the, actually he is his charioteer, and Arjuna is asking him to show the form. The O lotus said that it's actually completed. We have done that. These are the shlokas from 2 to 14, which have already been done. So I think we'll not waste time on that. See, O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Okay, a lotus-eyed form, of course, I have told you that. If you think that I'm able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. Requesting, not demanding. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Pashyame Partha Rupani Shatashostha. I think this we did. I think this is been done. Yeah. Pashyadityan Vasun Rudran Ashwinau Marutas Bahuni Adrishta Purvani Pashyascharyani Bharata. O best of the Bharatas. Krishna tells Arjuna, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. These are all the deities. They are all, Adityas are Aditi's progeny, and then Vasus are the attendants of Indra. Rudras are the worshippers of Shiva. Ashwini Kumaras are twin children, actually, twin. Now they had the face of the horse, and they were born to Surya and Sangha. Okay, they are called Ashwini Kumaras. They are meant for, they're in charge of all this healing, and for good personality. They are responsible to give that to human beings and all the other demigods. Behold my many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe kudakesha yachanya drashtumichhasi. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. Now I'm going to show you now. I'll be showing you the Vishwarupa. Okay. Now you can't see. I'll be giving you divine vision also. I'll give you. You see Okay. And whatever you want to see, you will see now. Okay. And whatever you wanted, what you want to see in future, even that you will be able to see. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future, all that you will be able to see. Everything, moving and non-moving, living and non-living, everything can be seen. Not only living, non-living, moving, like trees, everything you can see is here completely in one place. No one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Obviously, well, see, of course, now I think those days online was not there, TV was not there. Now in one place we can see the whole world that is there, but that is divine vision, and this is actually technical. We are able to see now sitting in one place. We are able to connect through the entire world. That's possible. But those days this was not there. Okay, no one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. That's very true. Maybe I can say what is happening in around my world, when the Earth, okay? Say America, Australia, all those countries, and India too, everywhere. But other parts of universe, difficult to see, not possible. There are so many planets, there are so many Brahmandas, and Goloka is there, Vaikuntha is there. All that we cannot see, definitely not. Even with our advanced technology, we cannot see. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on. Yeah, but a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Okay, Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Even that we cannot see, definitely, as with the scientific advancement. Of course, some people say, they predict, like the weather is going to rain on this particular day, and so many inches of rainfall and all that. That's possible, but all information cannot be retrieved of the future and the past. Natu mam shakshase drashtum anenaiva sachakshusha divyam tadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. It gives us vision. Like, some 3D pictures, or we are given some special specs to see it. Others you can't see it. Lord Krishna responds by offering to show Arjuna his opulences. Now you can see Krishna shows variegated forms or multicolored forms. So many heads, so many mouths, and then so many serpents, divine serpents. And Brahma is there, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu is there, and there are so many demigods there, and so many people coming in and going out of Krishna, of the universal form. All that is able to see. Then vision of wonderful forms. All wonderful forms are seen there. Everything that is present in the universe is seen in the Vishwarupa. No one has ever seen or heard of this before, obviously. He says no one has seen, but again, I told you about the two earlier instances, but they were not total. They were all partial. So we cannot count them as Vishwarupa in that way. But then they were a venture, performed by the Lord to impress how great he was. But then they were not able to appreciate, and they were not very totally like our Vishwarupa here. Vision of the entire universe is seen there, and then vision of past, present, future, everything was there. That was not there in the earlier Vishwarupas, and needed divine vision by Krishna's grace. That's the divine chakshu was required. So Arjuna is told not to change his mind, but his vision. He says, mental speculation will not help you to see me. It is only about your vision. Devotees in a transcendental relationship with Krishna. See, we have all relationships with Krishna. I told you many people worship Laddu Gopal. They like to worship Laddu Gopal. Some others worship him as a friend, some as a servitor, some as a servant. The different forms that are as rasas. Okay. Now they are called transcendental relationships with the Lord we have, are attracted by loving features, but not by a godless display of opulences. I told you, Sudama would not have been happy to see the 400 Krishna when he went to meet him. Okay, so we all would prefer to deal with a 200 form. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never wanted to see Krishna to show his opulences. They wanted him to be normal. They wanted him to come with dusty clothes and all that. They didn't want Krishna to come with a crown and then all that, with a pitambara and all that. They want just like any other child. The friends would have liked him wearing some home domestic dress and then play with him. They would not like. That would distance Krishna from them. And we don't want anything that will distance Krishna from us. We want him to be as close to us as possible. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that so Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. So when Damodar Leela was shown to Yashoda, Damodar Leela, you all know, is it not? Does anyone, can anyone describe the Damodar Leela? Do you know what is Damodar Leela? Please unmute, answer. Any hands raised? If you know Damodar Leela, kindly raise your hands. I think when I start telling you the story, you will understand. You say, oh, this is the one. Oh, Vijayan Prabhu, please. Doctor, please answer, Prabhu. Vijayan Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Namamishwaram Sachitananda Rupam Rasat Kundalam Gokule Brajyamanam Yashoda Biyolukala Paramrishtam Atyantam Todrutya Gopya. Shall I continue?
Please, Prabhuji, can you tell us, tell all the story of that Damodar Leela?
Story.
The pastime?
Yeah. When the Krishna was a small child, the Yashoda Mata was feeding the Krishna. So at the time she was boiling the milk, that flew away. So she ran by leaving the Krishna. So Krishna became angry and he started destroying all the butter, etc. And
Yes.
he gave this butter, etc. to the monkeys.
Yeah.
So when Yashoda Mata came, she saw this mischievous done. So she tied the Krishna with a rope to the.
Could she tie, Prabhu? Could she tie?
Yeah.
I think I'll continue. She tried to tie. She tried to tie. But then what happened every time? The rope fell short. The rope fell short. It was not enough. It was not enough. Then what she does, she gets angry on, she's so upset, frustrated. Then Krishna knows. Yeah, please continue, Prabhu.
Shall I start?
Yeah, please start.
Rudantam Muhurne.
No, I think that story will concentrate, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. It's a very big shtakam. I think time may not permit us here. Have it a certain day. Please sing it one day, Prabhu. They will all enjoy it. But this one today, what happens after the rope falls short? Yeah.
No, he tied with the ukkal. Every time it is shortage by the 2 finger.
Yeah.
This tying is actually the love of Yashoda to Krishna.
Yeah.
So she tied at the belly, so it is called Damodar Leela.
No, ultimately what happens is, then Krishna knows she's getting frustrated. He's very mischievous. Then at one point of time, she's able to tie. She will hurry the same rope. She brings all the ropes from the house. She's not able to tie. But then suddenly when she's able to tie. That means if Krishna wants to be tied, he will get tied. Otherwise, he will not get tied. Then she ties him. She goes to her work again. And what this mischievous Krishna does is, he tries to actually a mortar and pestle, and he actually carries that along with him, goes to the backyard. And there are 2 trees there. Nalakuvera, they were Nalakuvera in the previous life. They get the moksha. They get the moksha. That is Damodar Leela. He goes there between the 2 trees. The two trees are actually, they fall down. From there, Nalakuvera come out. They were actually sinners of the previous life. It's a beautiful story. That's about, so playmates of Krishna, they're so they're so immersed in the pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is there. So here, when any mother will be surprised when the same rope she is using to tie, at one time that rope is falling short, and the other time the rope is becoming okay. She surprised. Any mother would be surprised how it is happening. Is it a magic? So actually, that should be give her, seed a doubt in her mind that probably this child is superhuman. It is not actually normal. But she never thinks like that at all. She's able to tie, she goes to her work. So that means in pure love, they don't even know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. A devotee is not interested in seeing the Vishwarupa, universal form. Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as a supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. So practically, it's possible. It's not just not boasting of himself, not praising himself to glory, and not showing anything. He wanted to prove to the world that what he said, he meant. Okay, Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is in the beginning of the parampara system. See, long back, crores of years ago, it was, that parampara, where, a sun god was told about this by Lord, and verse 1, we have talked about that earlier. That was one parampara. But that has got obliterated now. So now it's a new thing now starting. Again, Krishna is telling the story, the whole Bhagavad Gita, reading it to Arjuna. So a new parampara is starting now. So in the beginning of a parampara, all the doubts should be cleared. So since Arjuna is the beginning of the parampara, the new parampara, he wants to know all the, he wants to get all the doubts clarified. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power. Gives him the necessary power to see him. Now in this, in the next one, from 9 to 31, Sanjaya describes, 9 to 13, Sanjaya describes how Krishna bestows upon Arjuna the necessary vision. Now Sanjaya is seeing all this. It tells Dhritarashtra how he is getting the new vision to see the divine form. Arjuna then beholds Krishna's universal form. 14 to 19, Krishna's universal form of the opulences. That is a beautiful description. 20 to 31, Krishna's Kala Rupa, that we'll be doing tomorrow actually. Kala Rupa, form of time. Kala means it's going to destroy everything. Now, Sanjay Vacha, Evam Uktva Tato Rajan Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Darshayamasa Parthaya Paramam Rupam Aishwaram. Sanjaya said, this is Dhritarashtra here, and Sanjaya is telling him, the Supreme Lord, thus the Supreme, the Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Yeah. Aneka, now it starts actually. Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabharanam, Divyaneko Dyatayudham. It was covered, it's fully ornamented, whole form was completely ornamented. Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, so many eyes. Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, beautiful, Rupa, form. Aneka Divyabharanam, lots of ornaments were there, fully ornamented. Divyaneko Dayatyudham. Divya Malyambara Dharam, lots of garlands were on the Vishwarupa. Divya Gandhano Lepanam, everywhere all the scented smearings, they were actually smeared on the Lord. Sarvashcharya Mayam Devam, so completely amazing form of the Lord. Anantam Vishwato Mukham. Anantam, it was infinite, absolutely all pervading, expanding. It had not confined to any particular size. It was so very, so beautifully, it's magnificently manifested. And this form, for your information, this form is a material form. Please don't think that because that had all this adbhuta, what I'm describing here now, it is a spiritual form. That this form is not seen in the Goloka Vrindavana. It is not seen anywhere in the spiritual worlds. It is so seen only in the material world. So the Vishwarupa Darshana is absolutely material form, which Krishna showed Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths. There were infinite mouths, so many faces, so many mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments, all beautiful celestial ornaments, and bore many divine unpraised weapons, lots of weapons. Each one had some weapon. He wore celestial garlands and garments, all were celestial, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, just amazing, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Everywhere it was expanded. Okay, these manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, Vishwarupa, all over the universe they were found. But by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. What was the grace the Lord bestowed on him? He gave him. Kindly answer.
Divine vision, Mata.
Divine vision. Yeah, very simple. But please, you can immediately answer me. I'll be very happy. Divine vision. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. That is Yogesh, is Yogeshwara. He had inconceivable potency. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhave Yugapat Utkita Yadi Baha Sudrishi Sa Syad Bhashas Tasya Mahatmanaha Surya Sahasrasya Bhave. Oh, I think it's no, not repeated. It's repetition. I'm sorry. Little, yeah. This part is repeated. You can just take the first 4 lines. This can be eliminated. I'll do it later. Confusion happens when you start doing some editing here. Yeah. Editing means it. Yeah. If hundreds of thousands, how was the splendor that is described here? If hundreds of thousands of suns, one sun we cannot look into actually in the morning. After some time in the beginning, okay, sunrise is fine, but sunset also is very fine. But once the sun starts rising in the sky, by say mid-afternoon, we cannot see him in face. I start to get it's so dazzling, you know. If imagine hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, what will happen? We will be blinded, definitely. Their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. That is the measure of the effulgence of the Supreme Form. And this is the Supreme Form here. You can see here. This is the form. I think this will try to bring down. Yeah. This is actually Krishna here. This is Krishna. This is Vishwarupa. Okay. And this is Arjuna. He's wonderstruck. He's actually standing with folded hands. There are divine serpents here. There are so many demigods. They're actually fire is coming out of their mouth. And you can see here, if you observe closely, there are people entering in. There are so many small people entering in and coming out of this. So that shows that, you know, once we say death, whatever is death, you know, where do we go? We don't go anywhere. We actually enter into Krishna only, and we come out at his, when he breathes out. So there's Kano, the guy, Sai Vishnu's actually profile of his work. So all over we can see so many here. In Brahma is here, so many. You see it more clearly in the other ones, other pictures. Okay. Yeah. Arjuna saw in that universal form. What did he see? Unlimited mouths, eyes. Okay. I think this I just did it in earlier. Only for the picture sake, I wanted to share this with you. Yeah. Tatraikastham Jagat Kritshnam Pravibhaktam Anekadha Apashyad Devasya Sharire Pandavastada. He says, at that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Okay, many thousands because it's a Vishwarupa. Actually, it's divided into so many pieces. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. Thousands of, not one planet, thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Okay, we think of only Earth. Earth has got our planets, but there are so many universes and so many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made up of gold. See, planets are made up of gold, some made of jewels. Such beautiful planets they should be. Some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all this, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna because they were not given the divine vision. And one more thing is Krishna's Yogamaya. It actually, in fact, one more thing, after withdrawing the vision from Arjuna, even Arjuna forgets the whole thing because he withdraws all that that power from him. He says, you should not remember this. That's not good for you. Even for us, we human beings, we don't remember our past. And he says, it's for your good. In case we are able to remember our past of all the generations, we'll go mad. So it's for even forgetfulness that we have is for our own good. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe in one place. Tatasa Vishamaya Vishto Hrishta Romadhananjaya Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjalir Abhasata. Then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Now he's getting actually sort of, you cannot say scared, he's quite disturbed. After seeing the universal form, the relationship of friendship of Arjuna towards Krishna transformed into that of respect. So earlier he was considering Krishna as a friend only, mere friend and relative only. But after seeing the form, universal form, he becomes actually his devotee, develops respect for him. And yet he started praying to Krishna with folded hands. He praised the form with wonder. The sober, actually Krishna, the sober Arjuna becomes actually, one second. Yeah, the sober, the calm Arjuna gets actually disturbed. Okay, he's not, he's quite amazed. Then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing up, Anandan began to pray to the Lord. Okay? Now these rasas I wanted to tell you. What are the rasas we have? Now this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 19.185 and 19.187. These are actually mentioned there. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhura Rasa, Nama, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Madhyaye Pancha Pradhana. It's actually written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The chief transcendental mellows experienced with the supreme. Mellows are the relationships, the sweet pastimes. The personality of Godhead are 5: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. Now, what are these actually? Now, we have Shanta. Shanta Rasa is a neutral relationship. And neutral, what is neutral with Krishna? See, the cows with Krishna, okay? The flute of Krishna. Then say the peacock feather in Krishna's, the crown. These are all neutral things. They're regarded as Shanta Rasa. Okay? Then we have Dasya Rasa, that is the servitor. Okay? Now Hanumanta is Hanuman is a servitor. Then Sakhya, Sudama and Krishna. Then that is friendship. Then Vatsalya, Yashoda and Krishna. And then Madhurya is actually Radharani and Krishna. These are the 5 basic rasas. These are very important rasas. Please remember them. Okay. Now in same Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 19.187. Hasya Adbhuta Veera Karuna Raudra Vibhatsa Bhaya Panchadvidha Bhakte Gauna Sapta Rasaghaya. So along with this 5 ones, there are 7 which are called secondary mellows, rasas. What are they? In addition to the 5 direct mellows, there are 7 indirect mellows known as laughter. Actually, it's comedy, actually. Laughter, wonder. I think all of these in Bharatanatyam, they show actually. Comedy, wonder, chivalry, that is bravery, and compassion, anger. Those who know Bharatanatyam will be able to appreciate it very well. Anger, then disaster, and fear. So laughter is actually, it's comedy. Many things, there are comic things. Even in mythology, a lot of comic situations come. That's also a rasa. Even Krishna himself used to do so many, comic pastimes of Krishna. Then wonder, okay? Wonder is, when Govardhan Hill was actually lifted by Krishna. It was a sight of wonder. Chivalry, that is the bravery, the fighting spirit of the seen in the in all of us actually. And pathetic feeling, when something bad happens, you feel very bad. Then anger, Raudra, you get very angry. Disaster, Bhivatsa, when something disastrous happens, you get, you feel, you show that rasa, you show that feeling on your face. And fearfulness, that is Bhaya. All of these actually are bhavas shown in Bharatanatyam. If I remember right, I think those who know that will be able to appreciate it better. Yeah. Arjuna Vacha, Pashyami devam satava deva dehe sarvamsha tatha bhuta vishesha sangan brahmanam isham kamalasanastham rishimsha sarvan uragamscha divyan. Arjuna said, my dear Lord, I see assembled in your body. Now Arjuna is describing the form. I see assembled in your body all the demigods. There are demigods in your body and various other living entities are there. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. I'll show you all this. I've got an image of this. Arjuna sees the celestial serpent Vasuki, on which lay Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and all planets up to uppermost planet of Brahma. So he says Vasuki is the snake on which Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu lies. And even the snake around Shiva is Vasuki only. There are so many Vasuki varieties. So all this is actually seen in the Vishwarupa. Yeah, this is a nice image. You can appreciate this. Yeah. Now this is Brahma. You can see here Brahma. And this is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. From his navel, the stalk is coming. And at the end of the stalk is a, what is it? Lotus flower. And along the stem of the lotus flower, there are the planetary systems, 14 ones, upper 7, lower 7. And this is the Brahma actually. This is Vishwarupa. Okay. You can see divine, see the serpents are, so many serpents are there. Divine serpents. These are all the demigods. Okay. You see the demigods there. I think this was done. Sister. Aneka Bahudara. Yeah. This I just showed you. Yeah. Now 15 to 19, Arjuna speaks his realizations of the universal form. What he feels about the universal form, he describes that. Now, Aneka Bahudara, Bahudara, Aneka Bahudara Vaktra Netram, Pashyami Tvam Sarvato Anantarupam, Nantam na Madhyam na Punas Tavadim, Pashyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. Aneka Bahudara, actually, O Lord of the Universe, O universal form, I see in you, in your body, many, many arms. There are so many arms, numerous, infinite, bellies, so many stomachs, mouths, eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. There is no beginning, no antya, no actually madhya. Everywhere you are there. It's limitless, expanding. Kiritinam gadinam chakrinam cha tejo rishim sarvato deeptimantam pashyami tvam turniriksham samantat deeptan alankarka dutim aprameyam. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence. Hundreds and thousands of suns, if they show up in the sky, that is the effulgence. It has to be obviously very difficult to see, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Everywhere there are weapons. There are crowns, there are clubs, and the clubs and discs are the weapons. Tvamaksharam paramam viditavyam tvam asya vishwasya param nidhanam tam avyaya shashvata dharma gopta sanatanas tvam purusho matomi. Excuse me. Sorry. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. Param Brahma, Param Brahma. You are the maintainer of all the eternal religion. The personality of Godhead. This is actually my opinion. That's what Arjuna tells him. Anadimadhyantam anantaviryam anantabahum shashisuryanetram pashyami tvam deepta hutashavakram twatejasa vishwam idam tapantam. You are without origin. There is no origin for you. You are the primeval. There's no middle. There's no end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. That's what they say normally. The sun and the moon are the eyes of the Lord. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth. There's fire coming out from his mouth always, burning this universe, entire universe by your radiance. The whole universe is getting burnt because of the radiance of the Lord. Dyava prithivyor iramantaram hi vyaptam yavaikena dishascha sarvaha drishtva bhutam rupam ugram tavedam lokatrayam pravyathitam mahatman. Although you are one, Lord is one only actually, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. That's what, why should the planetary systems be perturbed if they were not able to see it? See, they were also able to see it. See, the demigods in the other planetary systems, they were able to see the Vishwarupa. So when they saw it, they were all actually perturbed. Dyava Prithivyo, that the two words are very important here. Dyava Prithivyo, the space between heaven and the earth, and Lokatrayam, the three words are significant in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in the other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision were able to see the actually Vishwarupa. So we think that only Arjuna saw it. It's not so. It's actually more than one person seeing it. Rudraditya Vasavo Yecha Sadhya, all these people, Rudras, Vasus, Sadhya, they're all deities. Vishwe, Swinav, Marutas, Chosma Pascha, Gandharva Yaksha, Surasiddha Sangha, Vikshante Tvam, Pishmitas, Chaiva Sarve, all the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, Adityas, the Vasus, the Satyas, the Vishwe Devas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. All of them are actually seeing the Lord. This is the Lord's the divine roop, a divine vision, a divine form. So here all others are also, they have seen the form of yours. That's actually, we have actually, all the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They can see here demigods entering into the Lord and coming out to the Lord. They are very much afraid, and with folded hands, they are singing the Vedic hymns. They're actually saying Om, Om, they're saying they're afraid because they have to enter into the Vishwarupa and then come out of it. So they're singing the Vedic hymns, praising the Lord to show his mercy on them. Although you are one, your spectacle has been, it's done, all the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, Adityas, all that also, only for the picture's sake, image sake, I showed you that. Rupam Mahate Bahuvaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahuru Padam Bahura Padam Bahudaram Bahudam Karalam. It's a one line is missing there. Tishtva Loka Pravyasita Sta Yaham. Tishtva Loka Pravyasita Stataham. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form. With its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and with your many terrible teeth. The teeth are terrible, and as they are disturbed, so am I. Even Arjuna feels disturbed. And see, look at here. You can see the demigods entering in and then coming out, and then you see the teeth here, the fire emanating from their mouths, and then the terrible teeth which are seen here. So that's actually how Bhayankara. It's the whole the Rupa was. It was actually quite fearsome. So people are getting amazed at the same time, fearful also of the whole form. Nabasprasham deeptam aneka varnam vyatananam deepta vishala netram drishtva hitvam pravyathitantaram atma tritim cha vindami samam sa Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many, many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. And we feel really he gets getting actually afraid. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Actually, he's not able to be stable in mind. This is how the look at the teeth which are being showed up there, you know. O mighty armed one, it is just your figure is actually disturbing me. So that's yeah. Damshtakaralani chate mukhani tishtwaiva kalanala sannibhani tisho na jane na lapecha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered. He's actually requesting him to come back to his two-handed form. Ami chatvam dhatrashtasya putraha sarve sahevami pala sangaihi Bhishmo drona sutaputra sathasau sahasa madhyai apiyodha mukyaihi vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti tamshra karalani bhayanakani kechidvilatna dashanantareshu sandrishyante churnitai uttamangaihi. Here one interesting thing is that, no? See, earlier also we have seen in the earlier chapters, you know, second chapter, third chapters, Krishna tells him, don't worry Krishna, don't worry Arjuna, you are not going to kill them for the first time. I've already killed them. They're already dead. See, when did they die? When did Krishna actually receive them into himself? When in the Kuru Sabha, when Draupadi was being actually stripped, you know, it was absolute injustice done to her. And all the elders, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, they were all just watching it for their own reasons. There were their reasons. Bhishma had a reason for that. He was bound. Drona had his personal interest for Ashwatthama. Karna was very wicked already. So they were, for whatever the reasons, they were just watchfully seeing the whole, the injustice done to Draupadi. When that happened, Krishna is for justice. Immediately he had killed all of them and they were all within him. So now he shows, just to tell Arjuna that he's only instrumental in the whole war. He's not the person really killing them. He shows them all the sons of Dhritarashtra along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna and our chief soldiers, even Arjuna's soldiers are also killed there, are rushing into your fearful mouth. And some I see trapped with head smashed between your teeth. Duryodhana, I believe, was smashed between the teeth of the Vishwarupa. So all of them are already killed and they're gone there. Only now for the sake of, for the sake of the world, you know, now Krishna has to kill them. So he tells him, don't worry, go ahead. That also gives Arjuna more, he feels quite, reconciliation that he's not going to kill for the first time. So all the fears he had of compassion, of the sinful traditions and sinfulness and then the traditions being lost are all actually dispelled. Annihilation of Bhishma, Drona, Karna and all the sons of Dhritarashtra and their soldiers and Arjuna's own soldiers is an indication that Arjuna will emerge victorious. Obviously, when they are all dead and they are gone into Krishna, then Arjuna is not inside Krishna actually, he has not entered. That means, and the Pandavas are also safe outside. That means they are going to emerge victorious. Even the unconquerable Bhishma will be smashed. So also Karna. Almost coming to the end of the chapter. Yatha nadina bahavo ambuvega samudram ivabhimukha travanti tatha tavami naraloka veera vishanti vaktrani abhivijvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into ocean. See, all the rivers flow into ocean, is it not? That's the normal course. So do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. They're all actually entering your mouth like the rivers entering the ocean. You can see the same repetition of pictures are there. Yeah, this has been explained to you. Yeah. Yatha pradiptam jwalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samruddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokas tavapi vaktrani samruddha vegaha. I see all people, they are actually rushing in full speed into your mouths. As how are they rushing? Like moths. See, moths are attracted towards the light. When there's some light anywhere or any fire anywhere, then they go in search of the light and they're destroyed. The same way, all of these people are entering your mouth and they're getting destroyed. Le se grasamana samantal lokan samagran vadanai jalabdhihi tejo virap apurya jagat samagram pashas tavogra pratapanti Vishnu. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides. Okay, so there are actually 4 faces for the Vishwarupa. One is the Nrsimha face, and then the lion. There are so many faces they describe. We are seeing only one of them. Then, oh Vishnu, I see you're devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. So he's describing, this is Arjuna's description of the universal form. Akhyahi meko bhavan ugra rupo namostu deva vara prasida vijnatam ichhami bhavantam adyam nahi prajanami tava pravratim. So, O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. See, when he says, he no longer is able to imagine even that his own Krishna, the friend. He asks him, what are you, in what guise are you actually, were you my friend? Are you, what, I mean, explain to me what you are. Or tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know actually all about, he doesn't know much about Krishna's, there we actually stop today. That's the last shloka for the day. Now tomorrow we'll be continuing from the 32nd shloka. Yeah. So here, this is the description of that. Who are you? What is your mission? Why have you come here? Why are you showing all this opulence, your Vishwarupa? Why Arjuna asks these questions? The reason is, Arjuna knew Krishna as his friend and supreme personality of Godhead, but he was puzzled by various forms exhibited by Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll just, you can ask me questions now. I think I'll say the concluding prayer and then you can just stop sharing the screen. Yeah, you can ask me your questions. I'll just say the concluding prayer and then stop recording. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai, Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? I think Meenakshi, you are not audible.
Yes, Mataji, you are audible.
Okay, please ask me any questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Smita Mataji here.
Yeah, please tell me. Yeah.
Actually, Mataji, just a few bit before you told now that only Bhishma and Drona, apart from Arjuna, they also saw the universal form of Krishna. So
Yeah.
I just want to know what was their reactions by seeing that.
See, one thing, they cannot, there was no scope for them to express the reactions. See, and only Krishna, see, just imagine the battlefield, and on the chariot, Arjuna was very close to Krishna, okay? And on the other side was Drona and Bhishma. There's a distance between them. They were not in that, the reach of talking to each other, Krishna and them. They might have been equally amazed. And one more thing, like me, I think earlier also I told you, see, after seeing the Vishwarupa, he tells him, now I'm going to withdraw this from you. I'm going to withdraw this power from you. You have to forget all this. He wants to delete the whole thing from his memory. So even whether Drona and Bhishma saw it, they would have seen it and then felt amazed too, and fear. They also might have felt terribly fearful. But then they cannot, first and foremost thing, they cannot interact because the distance was too much. And secondly, the Yoga Maya makes them just forget the whole thing. See, one thing, supposing they had remembered all that, okay, that Krishna was so great and all that, they would not have proceeded with the fighting.
Right.
Is it not? They would actually they would have thought, oh, this is impossible thing, we are doing something going against the wind. This is absolutely wrong. We should not do this. But they're made to forget. But at the same time, Arjuna is instigated to fight. That was the purpose of the Vishwarupa.
Okay, Mataji.
Am I
Thank you so
clear?
much. Yes,
You're
yes,
welcome,
yes,
Mataji.
Mataji. Thank
No,
you
I'm
so
sorry
much.
for the technical problem that happened in between.
No issues, Mataji. Not an issue. Not an issue at all. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Am I audible now?
You are audible, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, Mataji, can we stop the recording? If
Oh, I'm
with your
sorry, I didn't do
permission?
it.
No, no,
I'm very
Mataji,
sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry. I thought I had stopped.